Well, gentlemen, on International Women's Day, the West Indies women were intent on putting on a superb, a special performance.
And they certainly did.
Welcome, Sports Nation, to Sports DTM, the sports channel where we call sports down the middle. You can expect the latest in sports news, views, and reviews from our resident analysts. No sports topic is too controversial, and no team or player is above criticism. So just smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on our balanced offering of riveting sports content. And don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Welcome to Sports DTM.
Greetings, Sports DTM fans, and welcome to another episode of Sports Down the Middle, your channel of undiluted sports content. Raymond, Adrian, and I are here to talk about the just concluded World Cup match, West Indies versus England. Despite us all in blue, not planned, certainly not feeling blue at this moment, Raymond.
No, Kirk. No, Kirk. Though this color is not reflecting the mood in any shape or imagination. The West Indies pull pull victory out of the jaws of defeat. I always wanted to say that with the West Indies team, and the women did it for us big time. This was one of the most exciting match in the longest while. When we thought all hope was lost, West Indies ding dong pretty much pull it off. Was excellent, excellent. I can't say more about it. Brilliant.
Adrian, how you feel? Another exciting matchup, another big team, and West Indies pulling it off in the final closing overs.
Yes, Kurt. Feel real exciting. Somebody is singing the blues tonight or this morning, and that's not the West Indies women. On International Women's Day, crossing over into today, the West Indies women were very intentional in ensuring that they performed and put in a very big shift, and we're all excited for this win.
And West Indies won the toss and decided to bat first. A very good decision when we saw how the openers went about getting the runs. Raymond, DeAndre Dattin, and Ailey Matthews. 81 between them, 31 Dattin, Matthews 45. We wanted them to continue, but it never happened. 225 for 6. Knight went for 6. Captain Stephanie Taylor went first ball. This is probably the second time she's making a score of 0 in international cricket, and probably the first in like 2 or 3 years. Raymond, she created history. Campbell steadied the ship. Nation, again, the senior stalwart, looked like really like she has her head on her shoulder. 49 off 74. We wanted her to get that 50, but it didn't happen. 225 for 6. Extras 28. Talk to me, Raymond. When we closed at 225 for 6, the score looked like something that England will beat off.
Of course. Of course. I mean, given how England play Australia, we thought that West Indies was doomed. Top order batswomen actually, they weren't too bad. Taylor, putting out, didn't actually show up and went for duck. You felt like, this was pretty much almost over for West Indies, and then come Campbell, who actually put together a good little batting and scored 66. So, with all of that, you felt as if, there's a possibility that West Indies might not cross the line, and the final score of 225, you're like, oh my God, what is going to happen? But another positive always is batting out the overs. Even though the score was that low, they were able to bat out the overs, and then you felt that the bowlers had it all to do.
Adrian, this pitch, as Raymond mentioned, 225 for 6. On this particular pitch, this wasn't a par score, but it wasn't far from that score. But when we look back at the way they batted at 81 without loss, it quickly turned 81 for 3, and then at 98 for 4 with all of the power hitters and the experienced batters. Back in the shed, we were wondering where the runs going to come from, but Campbell stuck it out. Nation again, she played well in the first innings, and we saw where she held the innings together. Today again, she was out there batting like a senior, experience, know exactly what she wanted to do. Both of them put on a partnership of 123, pull it back. I was surprised. I went away from the screen for a little, and when I came back, we were looking at 200. I was actually happy. No, the overall score not impressive, but I was happy to see that we pull it back in the middle.
Yes, Kurt. An excellent performance from the middle order batters. I mean, we know the quality of DeAndre Dottin, the Haley Matthews. They would have done their part pretty well to start us off, but then it got a little bit wobbly at number 3 and number 4, losing Knight and surprisingly Captain Taylor without a score. But Campbell and Nation really held things together. Um, if ever a time the West Indies needed help, it was at that point in time, struggling, 4 wickets lost, barely scratching to make a hundred. But after looking at the scoreline at 225 for 6, you realize that they really did a very good recovery, and the strike rates were pretty good as well. 66 from Campbell off 80 balls, 49 off 74 from Nation. I think she would have stepped up even a little more than the previous match, but narrowly missing out on her half century. And so I think it was a job well done by the girls to actually reach to this stage, 225 for 6, which at the time didn't look like a very powerful score, but still a very competitive total, which would trouble the English.
And before we looked at how the English bowled Raymond, and just to highlight Nation a bit, I mean, the way she batted, and in most cases, when persons approaching 50, they would start to think personal. I want to get to this milestone, but in her case, she continued to rotate. She never business if she make 50 or not once there were. She has score runs for the team, and we just want to big her up, highlight her, the way she batted, experience, mature, um, head and shoulder. And we can't say this for all of the team, them will represent that burgundy or that maroon out there.
Yeah, Kirk. It is hard for one to put team above self sometime, especially when you have, you find yourself with a score of 49 and so close to hitting half century to actually improve your stats. So for somebody to actually put the team above and help rotate strike, so as to maintain the partnership and help the recovery is really good. That speaks well of the captain influence and speaks well of also the coach influence on the team. To actually have players think about the team performance more than themselves. So they see themselves as an extension of the team or something of the sort, and that's brilliant. Mature beyond our years with that kind of approach to the game.
Right, and then this is how England fared. Ellie Stone 3 for 20 from 10 overs. She really attempted to break the back of the West Indies batting Raymond, and even when they batted, she was out there hell bent and making it a different result.
Yeah, Kurt. I think she almost thought that she was going to take it from us, take it from the West Indies. The way she bowled, it was excellent. If you look at the economy at 2, you can just imagine how much of a performance she was having, and also 3 wickets. She bowled out her entire allotted overs. She probably wish she had more, so she probably could limit the West Indies to under, below 200. So she thought that she single-handedly could actually prevent West Indies from snatching this victory.
And Adrian, even though they never bowled out the West Indies, this was actually a very good bowling performance by England to restrict the team more than anything else to a score less than 230.
Yes, Kurt. We're seeing we'll be looking at going probably closer to 250. But Ecclestone obviously had other plans. I think she did exceptionally well. Don't forget, she had four maidens out of her 10 overs, and
Right.
doing better than some of even her more fancied colleagues, Shiva, who had only one maiden off her 8 overs, going for 6 runs. Shrub Soul going to 7.13 in terms of her economy. And so Ecclestone almost single-handedly put the West Indies on the back foot, restricting them to only 225. But we thought that they would be going at probably closer to 250 or thereabout.
So at the break, 225, West England needed 226 to win, considering that they played Australia and they made 298 in a losing chase. England started off well, 31 for the first wicket. I'm not sure where to start, but that catch at the top of the table, Adrian, caught Dottin, bowled Cannell for 12. Winfield ill thought she had it all covered, 4 runs, and then there came the flying Knights woman pick something out of the air that, I mean, it's the catch of the tournament.
Catch of the tournament, indeed. It was a super catch by DeAndre Dutton. And it was
And
only,
just to highlight, just
there
to
you
give
go.
Deandra our moment.
Excellent. I mean,
About 4 feet off the ground, Raymond, and she's about 5 feet too.
Definitely have cat-like reflexes there. Definitely.
the flying Dutton. And when you really think about it, the way she went for that ball, she could have actually, with her left dominant and her left hand, she went for it, took it fully. And when she fell, I'm sure there are folks who thought that she could have actually, the ball could have actually bounced out of her hand. But she held it well, and then she burst off in celebration to kickstart the West Indies fight there, putting it to England.
I mean, Raymond, when you look at her full extension, it is a straight line, you know. There's no curls, there is, you see power, muscle, full extension. I mean, this is a gold medal catch.
Right, right. This is full on textbook. Some persons might say you can't teach this, but you can see the form in it. As you said, full on extension. There is no bending in the elbow, nothing. It's full on, and you can know which leg actually give her that push off to get into that outstretched motion, resembling some goalkeeper. Getting trying to push the ball out of the top corner.
Not any goalkeeper, Raymond. The best of the best
But of course,
goalkeepers.
that is almost up in a sure goal from the top in the top corner. So you can see, she's focused on the ball. If you just realize
Yeah,
her
her
expression.
eyes are
She's
extremely.
definitely fixed on it, and this is one of our great moments. You have that in sports every now and then when players is just outside of themselves and performance, give you this level of picture and clarity.
I mean, Adrian, not to stress on this, but this was a game changing moment in this match. The energy immediately changed after this catch. The players started to run around, start to encourage each other. But the senior players, she in the last match pulled off an excellent final over, and then in this match, we're seeing the senior experienced players putting up their hand and taking full responsibility for this team advancing all the way to the finals.
Yes, Kurt, definitely. So we have here DeAndre Dottin pulling off a superb catch in the last match. She took responsibility for the ball, bowl a superb over to defeat the New Zealand team. And in this match, Anisa Mohammed leading with the ball, putting up her hand and showing her worth as well. It's something interesting about this team. We see the senior players stepping up. We see Stephanie Taylor along with Mohammed, along with Dottin, as well as Ailey Matthews. Every now and again, you see them huddling together and having a discussion. Don't forget that the West Indies are punching above their weight. They are not expected to be in this position. They are actually the number seven
Seven.
ranked team coming in the tournament,
Right.
and they are beating the number five team New Zealand, the number three team
Two. Yeah.
England, and as such, they are actually showing that they can not only compete, but they can actually pull down teams which are ranked mightily above them, and actually are more fancy than them. So they are pretty much the underdog, but they have been chopping down and toppling all the big boys, girls. Yeah, and they have been doing pretty well at it.
Yes, and let us go back to the England chase. But we just had to pause for a moment to highlight the Andrea thing. Oh, the catch of the tournament, this tournament and probably the next tournament. So we just had to take some minutes to just highlight that. Them are going good and we need to highlight it. England, at one point, Adrian, we looked, they started off well, 31 um, for the first wicket. The Andrea pulled that one out of the hat, something out of nothing. England then struggled to 94 for five. Right, there was a six-wicket partnership of 64 runs, and then they lost another wicket, and then they were eight down for 156, and we're like, yes, we can pull this off. And then Elliston again thinks that she need to write a different script, and she went out there. She batted with cross, put on 61 runs for the ninth wicket, and we were like, okay, it's over. But the captain pull off another spectacular Raymond, throw the ball to Mohammed and say, just go out there and win it. And then we got a lifeline, dropped catch, but I run out.
Kurt, it was amazing. You know, when we thought that the heroics happened only in the New Zealand match, and only to see it happen again with players putting up their hand and say, "Oh, let me take this over." Um, the level of drama, suspense, everything. You know, you could not write that script, and the players themselves took on leading star roles and delivered this victory. Mohamed in particular, at that depth, when we thought, I was watching the game and I saw even the win percentages on my phone had it England winning this game when you had England had many balls to spare and so little runs, and you were like, oh, this the only way West Indies can win is pretty much bowling them out. And nobody predicted this. Nobody predicted and expected West Indies to bowl them out at that point. When the run out happened, big swing in the win percentage, and then Mohammed with that spinner. I mean, the bowling attack is impressive, and they will put pressure on any big teams. Have you and you can see that New Zealand and now England.
Adrian, on the ball too. And we see this and we complain whenever it happens. The captain on the ball to an inexperienced player in a pressure situation, and it most times fail. We have to highlight how the captain was bowled in handing the ball to a senior bowler, and we saw the discussion before the decision. It was clear that we have a plan and this is what we're going to do. Mohammed is one of their most experienced bowler, the vice captain. She never bowled her 10 overs. I don't know if something was wrong, but she was kept for this particular moment. So the pressure is on, but vice captain, captain decision, and Mohammed the ball, and it was all over. A run out gave us a lifeline. You can't even imagine. Pressure did not go up. And then we see that she dropped the catch, and I'm like, oh no. And then we see an appeal. And the decision, the girl never put in her bat. And I'm like, yes.
So, so let's be clear, Kurt. Captain Stephanie Taylor, last match against New Zealand, pulled a rabbit out of the hat and actually brought on DeAndre Dottin after she put up her hand and said, "Give me the ball." And so that was a surprise there. But on this occasion, she went to Dutton earlier on, and she actually it didn't work that time. So she went back to a more experienced Mohammed, and that did the trick. An excellent run out. You call it a drop catch. She knew what she was doing all along. She just spinned around and turned it onto the wicket. Celebrations were a while, and then came back to bowl a peach of a ball that dislodged the bails and to erupt wild celebrations by the West Indian women as the coolest man in the stadium, Courtney um, Cuddy Walsh, was just strolling along as he saw his team
What?
execute a fine win.
Adrian, Walsh pressure could have managed nothing else but to
At
stay
one point,
cool.
he was there, yes. He did look a little bit under pressure.
Walsh pressure could have managed anything else. But Raymond, looking at the bowling, Ailey Matthews is having a very good tournament. 10 overs, 2 wickets for 40 runs. I mean, and then the West Indies was able to use 8 different bowlers, which speaks to the depth and the ability of different persons to come in whenever it's required. Yeah,
Yeah, Kurt, that's a very important point. The depth of the West Indies bowler and the bowling attack and a different type of bowler, as you see with Mohammed, the spin bowler, it diversify and put real pressure on the batsman. But woman, it puts some real pressure on them. So it's almost as if, persons might feel like, oh, they can pretty much hit off this run or whatever, but the pressure was there. Connell with 3 wickets, economy of 3.8, exceptional. Even though Henry did not take any wicket, she also bowled really, really well with an economy of 3.75. So once again, the diversity in the bowling, really, really did the trick and put pressure on the English.
I mean, if we were to look at any negative, Adrian, this extras, 20 extras, and a few drop catches. But in the scheme of things, when we're running up against an highly ranked team and one of the favorites for the tournament and winning, though we didn't execute as we would have liked, is something to celebrate.
Yeah, definitely something to celebrate. The feeling not as good as we'd want it to do to be, save for that superb catch by Dottin, which is a crack off a catch. That can be worked and tightened up. But what to say? Voila. What to say for a team? You can give up a few runs if you're going to create those superb performances, and you're still winning by toppling off your opponents. But they'll need to tighten up that a little bit more. Going against another top five opponent in the next match, and so we look forward and see exactly where they'll come down on this one. But
But
well done.
certainly an excellent performance by the team, Raymond. We never expected the team to win this match, to pull off this, and they're now no longer an underdog or going under the radar into the finals. But everybody will be looking out and watching the team.
Yeah, everybody would began to sit up and pay attention to West Indies. The bowler and the batting, everybody is sitting up now and see them as a threat and will not take them lightly in any shape or form.
So there you have it, sports fans. Another excellent win by the West Indies women as they go in search of their maiden ICC ODI trophy. Will they be able to pull it off this time around? We certainly believe that they can based on their last couple performances and the teams that they have beaten. Fans out there, we would love to hear from you. What's your thoughts? How you feel about this matchup? We spoke about the preview and we knew England was a very dangerous team and the West Indies pull it off. We're extremely happy. And you can see the blue don't represent us being blue, but we're extremely happy for the way they perform. So let us know how you feel. Leave all those comments in the comment section below, and always remember to like, to share, and to subscribe, and to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell all of them friends to come and join the Sports DTM family. This has been another episode of Sports Down the Middle. Adrian, Ray, and I signing out. Be blessed.